The Keshe Foundation, an independent, non-profit, non-religious, space-based organization founded by nuclear engineer Mehran Tavakoli Keshe, is introducing to humanity the science of the universe, plasma science. Keshe Foundation develops universal knowledge and space technologies that provide solutions to major global problems, revolutionizing agriculture, health, energy, transportation, materials, and more. The application of plasma science in the form of specially developed plasma reactors and other devices will give humanity the real freedom to travel in deep space. Plasma science exists throughout the whole universe. It is here and it belongs to you. Our knowledge, research, and development regarding the plasma structure has progressed to the point of enabling everyone to participate in the process. Become a creator and understand the work of the universe for the good of humankind on this planet as well as in space. The use of megravs, nanomaterials, GANs, liquid plasma, field plasma, and other plasma technologies have come as a new dawn for humanity to progress and work in harmony with the universe. Conventional technology applications are wasteful, damaging, and cause pollution to the planet and all living beings. Plasma science provides solutions and improves existing methods and use of resources in all aspects that touch the lives of all beings. Plasma is defined by the Foundation as an entire content of fields which accumulate and create matter and is not defined by its physical characteristics like ionization or temperature. Also, with plasma science, we understand how we can convert matter back to the fields. Quoting from Mr. Keshe, MEGRAV stands for magnetic gravitational, which means plasma absorbs or gives. And every plasma has the both. It has give and it has take. And when they can't find the balance, they distance themselves until they find the balance they can give to the others, that they can receive what they want to receive and give further. Certain atoms and molecules release and absorb magnetic or gravitational fields. Released fields are available to be absorbed by other objects. The Keshe Foundation has developed a way to gather these free-flowing fields from the environment within a resourceful and beneficial new state of transitional matter, which M.T. Keshe named GANs. The first step of the process of the formation of various basic types of GANs is nano-coating metals. This is carried out either chemically by etching, steam coating with sodium hydroxide, or thermally by heating, fire coating by gas burner. During either coating process, gaps between outermost layers of atoms are created. The residual coating is often referred to as nano-coating, defined by the structured layers of nanomaterial, which build up during the creation process of the coating. Nano-coated metal in interaction with other various metal plates in a saltwater solution creates megrav fields. These fields then attract available elements to form a specific GANs, which collects and settles at the bottom of the container. This GANs is formed from independent energized molecules like little suns that can be used in various applications.
The Keshe Foundation is extending an invitation to medical doctors of any practice and speciality to apply to the Foundation's private weekly medical teaching workshop. This includes medical doctors, dentists, and veterinarians. Scientists of the Keshe Foundation developed different types of plasma therapies and cures that utilize advanced, non-invasive plasma technology. The weekly private medical teaching workshop educates doctors to the plasma science behind the therapies, along with the functionality and operation of revolutionary plasma medical devices. The goal of the private teachings is to add plasma health knowledge to the profound knowledge of medical doctors. The weekly class is broadcast live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central European Time. Presently, the class is only offered in English. However, you are free to bring a translator to the class. If you can't participate in the live broadcast, you can watch them later at your convenience through a private internet portal. Every patient's case that is discussed in the workshop will be kept anonymous and private. This includes cataloged findings and data gained from the analysis of the patient's health issues. Any medical doctor in the world who wants to participate can do so by sending an email to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. In your email, please state your willingness to participate in the medical teaching workshop. If you're planning on bringing a translator to the workshop, please state this in your email as well. After we receive your email, we will contact you with the instructions on how to apply to the workshop. As a part of the application process, applicants who apply, including any translators brought into the workshop, will be required to sign the Keshe Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. All applicants will be required to provide proof of their education and ability to practice medicine, and will also be required to pass an extensive security background check before they are granted access to the teaching workshop. Healthful plasma technology is here, now, the use of which is increasing exponentially on a day-to-day basis on every continent. We encourage you to come and learn about this revolutionary technology. Apply today. The Keshe Foundation is extending an invitation to experienced farmers, agricultural specialists, and researchers to apply to the Foundation's private weekly agriculture teaching workshops. If you fall into one of these categories and are interested in plasma technology integration into agriculture, you're invited to apply. Scientists and agricultural practitioners of the Keshe Foundation continually develop and apply new methods of food and fiber production, soil fertility management, plant and livestock health management, and increased farm productivity using the most advanced plasma technology that is taught at the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. In the teaching workshop, you'll learn the science of plasma technology and its applications in the field of agriculture for enhanced and equitable global food production while minimizing costs and external inputs. Practicing farmers and Keshe Foundation scientists will demonstrate their application of plasma technology in agriculture and the ensuing results of such applications, thus deepening and enriching learning for all participants in the private teachings. Participants are encouraged to demonstrate their farming practices in the teaching workshop. The private teachings are broadcast in English live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central European Time. If necessary, you may bring a translator to the workshop. All applications are required to provide proof of their education and professional qualifications, must pass a security background check, and are required to sign the Keshe Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. Translators that attend must also pass a security check and sign the World Peace Treaty. For details on how to join the private teachings in agriculture, send an email to agriculture@kfssi.org stating that you'd like to participate. Include in the email your education and agricultural experience and reasons for your interest in plasma technology. Applicants will be contacted with further instructions and details on the application process.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 166th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Once again, we're here with Mr. Keshe. I can hear him whispering in the background, and he suggests that he's going to have a lot to talk about today, some important things that have come up, and I think he's pretty much raring to go there. Apologize for the delay today. We had a bit of a delay to start, but I think we're ready to go. Are you there, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, good morning. Thank you very much, Rick. Do apologize for delay. It's just a confusion in time. You're lucky I just happened to look at my phone. I saw a lot of messages. Otherwise, I would have been coming online in 2 hours time. First of all, as usual, good morning, good day to you, whenever and wherever you listen to these teachings. As you know, we have been having a very busy week last week, and a lot has happened. A lot has taken place, and what we have seen is huge changes and developments which change the course of the Keshe Foundation. I promised I will not teach from today on, and I'll explain to you why and how and the reason. And then we carry on in how we teach from now on. First of all, let us as usual make some announcements and then we come to it. As you know, we gave our support to the group in a way not by group, but we were invited to give a speech or a talk in Romania a couple of weeks ago when Giovanni and I were there for another business. And some 300 people from the group turned up to be there. These people have been with us before in Valletta and the rest of it. And we were accused of supporting pedophile groups. But let us see how Illuminatis work. KF and his group, in a way, what we call as us, we stand for freedom of man from now on. Keshe Foundation has become the point for those who've been in prison, locked away illegally under depression and suppression of the government. As we set up the world government, we have to be correct in our conduct in supporting the innocent. We kept quiet in respect that we know the head of this organization in Romania is an innocent man. He was put in, accused of whatever that DL and Mr. Sylvester ran around with it. But as usual, these are criminals of the internet and they didn't tell you the truth. Because this is how they could do. They're well paid by their paymasters. The gentleman who they put pictures of him being convicted on putting a court to International Court of Justice, the gentleman is acquitted, totally acquitted from doing anything wrong, and he was set up by the government. The details of the acquittal and the penalty which had to be given to him symbolically at €1,000 and a court cost of about 7,000. He is innocent, has always been innocent. But in a way it was trying, with this situation, we've seen how the criminals have got used to committing crime and blaming the others that we support whatever because they are whatever. So, as in the facts about Dirk, the court case is released, it will be released by securities and you can read it. The appeal court is 29 February 2017. A man has been jailed by pedophiles who accuse the man being a pedophile because this is their job, and we found out even the girl who's been accused of has been telling he's never been touched. This was the way the people like DL work. They rape children, their own daughters, and then they accuse the others of doing it because they get a lot of money for it, because this gentleman opened the hand of the pedophile and Illuminatis in his country, and it's just a revenge. This is how they've been trying to get Keshe Foundation. So you've seen how they were running, but they didn't tell you, as usual, a liar is a pathetical liar. And he disclosed, yes, he is in prison, falsified, and European Court of Justice, Human Court of Justice have given him the right that he's been set up and he is innocent and he's been given a symbolic gift, because you cannot pay for a man's life in prison. So DL, you're a crook, you're a thief, you're a criminal, you're a murderer, you raped your own daughters, and now that's why you jumped. We've seen the same with Sylvester. I wonder how safe children are in South Korea. What we hear from the South Korean officials, not very safe with criminals in there. So from now on, as we set up the world governments and the security of the world government, we'll free these kind of people and we support innocent people. We won't jump on a bandwagon to be just to be. When we know we are clear, we support. The court case heard in France will be released in the French and both, and then you see the man is totally innocent. So, as you've seen, we had the same thing with Alan. When Sterling was imprisoned, he jumped to support, because that's what his habit is, supporting his own team. So, be correct the way we are, and this shows us from now on we enter world peace by bringing peace to the man of imprisoned illegally by wrongdoing, and Keshe Foundation will stand for human rights, the total right, freedom of the soul of the man. Now we come to another. As most of you know, last week we had a week, 2 days of what we call the conference with the members of the Universal Council, and 3 days was the Scientific Council. The 2 days which you joined in the middle of the Scientific Conference on Thursday morning has brought a lot of changes, has brought a lot of point of views of what we are and who we are and what we have to expect from Universal Council, what Universal Council had to be explain their position in respect to what they are. It's been recorded and will be kept in the archives of the future members of the Universal Council, and the Earth Council will come to understand how they've been given this position. They have the blessing of us, and I have called for the meeting of the core team, which Rick now is about to start to put together. That core team after a long time meets, because we didn't have the need to meet. We know each other, we connect each other. There are points to be discussed, and the core team, the Universal Council members and the Earth Council will gather together shortly in Ghana. They are invited, and all expenses paid to be there for the opening of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute in Ghana. In this process of the teaching, a lot has become clearer, and in so many ways, some mistakes which has been made, or misunderstanding which has been made, or was created over years of teaching, we start putting it right. The reason we did this was because we see in these conferences is when we learn each other what we are doing, what we are not doing. We've seen some groups have tried to infiltrate and affect the work of the Keshe Foundation. We saw it with 3 French women. This has brought to us the weakness of the Keshe Foundation, where we are weak at. These came in, we saw their work in Dubai, and now we saw the same group of people appearing in France or in Italy in the conference. So what we've done from now on, Keshe Foundation will not run any conferences that it can be threats or have people which are there to damage the foundation and the members of it to come into operation. In that respect, the conferences from now on will be categorized for the doctors, for the engineers, and only those who are registered and qualified in that part of the work will be allowed to join the conferences. In so many ways, this was, as I said, is a learning curve for all of us. As we see the abuse, we adjust. That still knowledge can be shared with others, but we do not let them to touch us, to touch our families, and interfere with their running, with their falsified image of who they are, what they are, and we protect the Keshe Foundation and the family of the Keshe Foundation. In the process of the teaching, in the conference and learning from our scientists who submitted and gave us lectures and they taught us, we learned a lot and we shared a lot. And in that process, we learned, for example, a lot of you don't do the nano coating the right way. A lot of it is not done the way it should be. So part of the teaching we done for nano coating, it will be isolated, taken out, and will be put in on a blueprint that I explain in detail how it should be. Because the Romanian team showed us that they put the coppers in a pressure cooker, they boil it 7 times with caustic, and it doesn't work that way. And then they pile it up on top of each other, it doesn't work that way. And then the others will learn with the others, the other things. It's in a way correct, you don't make, but this is not the way what you need to do to achieve what we are achieving. And we are realizing more and more why some of the people's maggrav system works, some don't, because you have nano coated it the wrong way, you have caustic coated it the wrong way, you have produced the ganses which are wrong. So for this purpose, not ganses are wrong for anything else. In English we say horses for courses. To achieve the effects which you expect from what we teach, what we show, follow our procedure. There is no need to worry, oh, I made it that way, I was wrong. You achieved a different thing. You are never wrong. Nobody in this technology is wrong. But this is a recipe for the cake we make, not the recipe you want to try. So in a way, in the teaching, the team will spread the knowledge in its coming time. We take the whole thing to the next step and we teach more. As part of the teaching, we understood more what is to expected of the Universal Council and what they have to do. In the other part of the teaching, I wanted to know how much my teaching of the past 3-4 months, especially now that we concentrate on space travel, on deep space travel, on interaction with the universal community, has been learned, has been developed, has been added. What was very interesting was, in a meeting we had, we knew, due to the characteristics of the way we set it up, as I said, we invited what you call universal community to join us. This is an invitation. With the right I carry, I can do. And in the conference, it was a test, it was an exam, it was see how much the knowledge seekers have learned about the interaction and what to expect of our brothers and sisters in different shape or forms, dimensions of the strength of the field of the plasma in the universe. What I thought all the time, if you go back on all the teachings, I said in the teachings, in the conference, that people of the universal community are amongst us. We have a friend. And I saluted him. And on the last couple of days of the conference, I asked, in a way it was exam time. Nobody knew. It was one question for all those present. And it was like a one question with one answer, and it was a multiple choice of understanding one thing. In the last couple of days of the conference, I stood and I asked for our partners in the universal community to stand up or to manifest themselves, to show themselves. It was very strange. One man pulled himself against the wall, he wasn't sure if he is or not. And one woman stupidly ran and stood next to me as I am. And they're all asking me afterward, is she the one? Is she the one? Is she the one? And I said to myself, I wish I could explain. Go back to the teaching. So, in a way, if I was marking the table of marking, you all got F. You all failed. The reason. Go back. Go back to the understanding. You see the man of the universe, not in the physicality, but in the soul of the man, entity. And strange enough, the soul showed itself, the room bright, and nobody saw because you were looking for the body. And the whole teaching was, go and understand the totality. The message was, you have a lot to do. Your student haven't learned much. So let's try again in the future. See how much man has become close to his soul to understand the work of the universe. In the universe you shall not see the entity, but its presence through his soul should be transparent to the man. Now you know what the test was, and now you know what the condition was. Now the people who are present and those who will watch the videos recording will understand. In one point, a flash of light, the soul of the man manifested itself, and nobody did see. A couple of people jumped because they thought that's it. They must have a good drink the night before. So in reality, start learning. Start learning to look for the soul, the environment of the field, not the physicality of the entity. By the time you find out the physicality of the entity could be within you. This is how bad in the space could be if you're not well educated. So in a way, the first test for mankind in the open channels as we are has shown that you still look for physicality, where, how we said, he is amongst us. But I did not explain anything more than that. And those who are misguided, they turn up like this because they think this is the position. But from now on, it's not a failure. We learned where and what we have to look for. We've seen 3 or 4 French women appearing and making all sorts of threats and discussion. That if this is not done this, they will do this and that, and the master will come. Up to today, I dealt with you as a student. From today on, I'll be the master. And you'll know exactly what is going to be done. You ask for it, you receive it. But those who did and interfere and they think they're in that position, we do not punish. We elevate your souls. And that elevation grounds you to this planet. You have locked yourself by misconduct. And that has been the criteria of the Keshe Foundation and the work of the universe. One who touches the soul and emotion of another person, and by it causes another problem, shall pay through their own soul. Which means you are connected to this planet, and that's where you have to stay till you educate. So the master is teaching. And those who thought they gone and they would make things done, you have to stand your term. I think 6,000 years is good enough. Let us go and see what else we have and where we are developing to. As you know, we've entered into the work of the Keshe Foundation Ghana in a very big way. We are given the land by the government, an atomic zone, military zone, to build the first clinic, the first center for the Keshe Foundation, in Africa, the factory of the Keshe Foundation in Ghana, the development of the research centers internationally for Keshe Foundation worldwide, and the first space launch lab in the world as a spaceship world launch pad. During the conference, Dr. Rodriguez showed a way of how a cancer has evolved, being a huge breast cancer, for the cancer to dissolve and then to show itself as it is. And this teaching is so, what I call, perfect and graphical. And it has both application in the health part and space part for the change of the man, that has been separated and has been loaded. It will be loaded on a specific server called cancerprocessing.org. that will release the position in the next few days, that you can go and see the whole part of the conference in that piece regarding to the cancer. Keshe Foundation is proud to announce, and we have shown it, that the most horrendous cancer, which is more or less the size of a watermelon, with the breast of a cancer, how in the hand of a knowledgeable man of medicine like Dr. Rodriguez, His Excellency member of the Earth Council, has shown that it disappears. It literally pieces fall apart. And it'll be ready. What would like you to do? Check. We'll try to bring this out. It's already completed. It's just I'm not in the location that the team can come in and put it on the server. Make this viral. Send this across the world. It's so precise that there is not a headache. There is not that somebody has made the wrong testimonial. Testimonial of the physicality of a change of a cancer is the proof of it. We cannot show these pictures because last time we did, the YouTube put a note on it, on the age group. It's going on a server which we have chosen by the Keshe Foundation, and it'll be there. Pick it up. Show the shackles of the cancer on man is over. It is so picture-wise dramatic. It's so touching that no one can refuse the reality. You see a body of a woman with one breast, huge cancer, and then the cancer opens up and it falls apart, and then there is no cancer. The breast returns more back to a very, very small size. But the beauty of it is that the tumors are not there. They've done biopsy on the tumor and on the body, and the tumor, they cannot find any more cancer agents. Nothing at all, no markers. So you have a report by the independent medical people who've done the biopsy. What I've asked Dr. Rodriguez is something very simple. Please, in this conference when he presented the case, is that he's going to leave it for 8 months, 12 months, and then when the tissue softs, they can do plastic surgery to give her breast back. What I've written to Dr. Rodriguez is that I asked him, please do not touch if you can. Give the woman the courage, the way she brought this huge tumor of God knows how many kilos back into nothingness. Give her the confidence that through the same process of, as we said, my wish is my command. In wishing to have the same breast as before, that there is no deformity, she can ask for a breast to grow back to the original size and shape. That the cancer becomes memory of the past. This can be done as the man matures in time. Maybe not in this case, but we hope so. She's been touched. The other point in this is that this goes back to the space technology, where we said you can change your physicality according to the wish. And this we have seen. This video, which is going to be released on what is called cancerprocessing.org of the Keshe Foundation, one of the first videos we show with the cancer, indicates the wish of the man to dispose of the cancer can be at the time for the body of the man, the wish of a man in the space to you like to have to fit into the environment that you arrive, is to have another breast back the same. And we hope the soul has matured, that it can pass into that state. So we hope we can see in the coming time if we can move in that direction. But this is another point. We have proven the will of the man. We have shown the work of the cancer reversal in less than 60 days, 90 days. Doctors will understand with a few glass of waters and standing in the machine which carries the energy transfer, there is no need for chemotherapy. Please understand, do not go back to Dr. Rodriguez to help you to keep the cancer off. A lot of people will go to him. We do not want this to happen. The pressure should not go in one direction. What we're going to do, most probably in the next few weeks, we teach the core of Keshe Foundation doctors across the teaching, what we call the medical teaching, that we spread the load across the world. Is totally dependent on the doctors, what they will charge for their time to put this through. We'll train doctors across the world. We make facilities of the system available to Austrian Keshe Foundation medical team to be able there to do it if people want to go that way. But do not forget, the Keshe Foundation is doing a lot of research. And the research which is coming from Tokyo has been moved to a different location. Because of the security reasons, the head of the research has been moved to a safety in another location, so we moved out of Tokyo. And the results coming from Tokyo this morning, and in the past couple of weeks, we've been keeping it away. What we told you is going on, it is confirmed. We received the confirmation 2 days ago, and we received a biopsy, and by blessing the soul of the 2 mice which were sacrificed this morning to check the organs for any toxicity and any signs of tumors of the cancers, has come as negative. But the beauty of it is the following. As I said, I hope these animals which are going through this process in Tokyo are the last ones. In a coming time, as the system shows 0 time of cancer, gradually the whole bunch of these mice, which is about 50 of them, will be sacrificed for the life of a man. They give their life and we bless their souls for man to be able to understand is safe. The process was very simple. As you know, in early last year or middle of last year, a judge in Tokyo took the steps for the Keshe Foundation that we have to do the thing to take it across, that we can go to the court to show what we used in TEPCO was correct. In reversal of cancer, in reversal of viruses, in extracting radiation from the body of the man. The extraction of the nuclear material from the animal will be carried out in another safe place by the Tokyo, not University, but the Japanese research development, and that will be in a way very short term, because they give a certain given radiation to the animal, and then the batch which is to do with the use of our technology will be tested, and within days they can give this result. But with the ones with the cancer, the phase 1 was to confirm that CO2 zinc oxide specifically produced and developed is not the ones you drink and you do. It has to be done the way it's getting done. Leaves no toxicity. When you do the first phase 1 by the international, you check if the toxicity after 1 hour can be found in the blood or liver. Then in 1 day, 24 hours. Then in 10 days, and then in 16 days. And if you find no toxicity in the 4th test, you complete the process that the material can be used for the next phase. All the answers has been 0. We have given the report to FDA, to standard boards, to very selected people who we wanted them to see. Then the phase 2, which is using a cancer tissue from human and the rat, one was lung and others went through the same process. What we saw was, if we use one type of GANs, the time will be between 5.5 to 6.5 hours, the cancer will disappear. It changes to non-cancerous. And using another GANs, we go to 23.5 to 24.5. This was a huge step for us. The result showed that the GANs developed by and processed the way we do can destroy or change the cancer cells. By standard international way, these things takes months and years to prove and test. But the beauty of this technology is that it shows itself very rapidly. within hours, 6 hours. You can see, you can watch it. Then it came the test number 3, which is clinical trial on a live animal. For this purpose, the scientists chose 50 mouse. Control set was kept, and the non-control part were injected with chemicals to give them cancer, and most of them died because of these injections to get them to get cancer, because they were resistant to the cancer injections. A new batch went through the same, and the new batch was used by different method, and they start gradually confirming cancer in them. They allow the cancer cell to grow, that it takes roots in the body of the mice, and then by standard law they started the use of new technology, new development, which is again in a way belongs to Keshe Foundation, was started last week. In that process, what we saw after the 9 days, when they did the blood test, there were no cancer. There were no markers, because don't forget, they took a blood every day, and when the mouse got the cancer, and they saw all the markers for cancer was at maximum, they could start the process of reversing. But what they did, they waited and to observe. What we saw was very strange. The animals in the first week, when they were given and implanted tumors that they were getting the cancer and the markers were there, they became very, very weak. They became very, what you call, docile. They didn't want to move. It's a pattern we see with a man. When you have cancer, you just reduce in the strength. You don't want to do anything. But what they noticed was after the 3rd day, 4th day, they start becoming active. And the 9th day, 10th day, they were as worse than the beginning in running around. They were full of energy. And when they did the blood test, because they wanted to leave it for 2 weeks before they tested that it's gone, there were no markers. No markers of cancer in these 2 mice. So what we said, as the cancers, the 50 mouses are individuals, they grow cancer in different rates, they watch till them reach the markers and then leave them for a few days. And then they start using the new processes which is developed. So we suggested that, okay, in 9 days, we don't know which day between the 9th day and the 1st day the cancer start moving, and when the reversal started. When did the tumor was not there? There is no cancer. So in the batches which start getting cancer and they were coming online, they start testing the blood every day. The data has come up is after the 2nd day into 3rd day, we see between 23 to 30% reduction in the markers. So we know within 24 hours, 48 hours, which is in line with the first, if you remember, 24-hour lapse of the cancer in the cancer tissue test. Now what we've seen, by the 4th day, animals have no markers. So by standard, the 2 who were originally shown, they have no markers of cancers. They were allowed to run to see if they grow again or it totally goes, there is nothing. They were sacrificed this morning. Toxicity report is 0, and they cannot find any tumor. I'll read you what we just received from our team in Tokyo. I thank them and I salute them. And in so many ways, the work they have achieved has broken the international stranglehold that making an illness, what you call cancer, a noose around the neck of the man. I'll read it to you because we share it in Keshe Foundation, everything directly. Mice are clear. No sign of malignant tumors. No toxicity, and there wasn't any tumor present. However, there was a weight loss in both mice. So we know what to expect. and we know we can stand, hopefully, some weight loss. There will be more investigation. This is literally, as we say in English, hot off the press. It's just coming at 11:28. You got to realize, due to success and the progress of the Keshe Foundation, we are back in Middle East today. We moved back in to find and to start the establishment of what we started with the team in Dubai last year, to carry on, to expand the manufacturing and develop them to expansion of the technology in Middle East. I am with Dr. Paris, and he's heading this development as a member of the Earth Council. Anytime any of the member of the Earth Councils come on help from me, I'll be there. I got a very short notice, and after the Rome conference I left. We will announce in due course in what we came here to, what we call it, a year ago. We stayed here 3 months with Dr. Paris, and his continuous work has started paying off. And soon we'll make announcements about the manufacturing and development in Middle East with the support of people at the point of wealth and power. They can dictate, they can change, they can bring the technology across the Keshe Foundation worldwide. So this mice technology, what we are talking now, the cancer we've seen, we allow all the mice to be sacrificed, that we get a full picture. We have spoken, Keshe Foundation and with Tokyo University, with the Japanese government, in next 30 days to 45 days, we'll make a press conference internationally. Most probably we'll move to Tokyo. Dr. Paris will be with me as part of the medical team of the Keshe Foundation and a member of the Universal Council, what used to be and now is a member of the Earth Council. And Dr. Rodriguez are invited to join us in Tokyo as part of the Keshe Foundation, and our team in Tokyo will present international press the new discovery. The total cost for reversal of a cancer with the new technology, very, very cheap. Most probably by the time we finish, we're talking a matter of hundreds of dollars, if that. We will not pass the technology unless we agreed and come to an agreement with our partners in Tokyo University. We provided what we could, the knowledge and the financial backup, and they gave us the knowledge and the backing. The technology will go as a spin-off to Tokyo University. Whatever we develop in this field has to be benefited the Japanese nation, the Japanese government. They were the people who trusted and ran the test. They took all the expenses of it, which was their part of it, and we took ours. And it has shown a new technology in life of man on this planet has started. We are not looking in months and years of testing. We are looking at days. What we see, if can be converted to body of the man, we were testing, we were calculating, it'll be about 1 milligram per day for 30 days. It's a specific way the material is made. It's a material the way it has been processed by Tokyo University people. So, congratulations to all of the Keshe Foundation supporters. You have found the solution. Hopefully it'll be done. We allow it to go viral worldwide. We invite all the universities around the world to follow, because it's so simple. Within days they can show us. Within a few weeks they can confirm. In so many ways, if you are a shareholder in pharmaceuticals with leukemia, or so what you call it with chemotherapy, start selling shares. Because your shares will not worth anything. But when you sell share, inform them the reason you can sell, because you can put somebody else in problem. This is not the way we solve the problem. The greed of you to give you something brought you to there. I would like to know how many of you are strong enough to stand the loss yourself, that you don't pass your losses to somebody else's, that it could be his food, his life, his house. Maybe you benefited by it. Maybe now it's time to let go. So you understand the whole conduct of the Keshe Foundation has to be correct in every shape or form you operate under. So in next 3-4 weeks, hopefully in 6 weeks, we have started discussion with Tokyo University, is conference presentation, totally only by 2 people of the Keshe Foundation, the 2 doctors which work with us, Dr. Parviz Rashwan and Dr. Rodriguez, who will be with us in Tokyo. Because you have to understand, Dr. Rodriguez has already done the other part, which is on the human trial. That's why you see the breast. So it shows simultaneously human trial and animal trial coming together. Now is the faster way to do it, the faster speed. And as usual, we share the knowledge really with all the universities and all the health institutes around the world. This is what we promised. This is why we became part of the Keshe Foundation. That we share knowledge accordingly, freely, and that the knowledge doesn't become a stronghold on the finances, but becomes a pleasure for sharing. I would like to thank the professors, the team in Tokyo University, the Keshe Foundation supporters in Japan, for what you stood with us. And in the coming time when we do the radiation test too, will be shared that in a way no one needs this more than the Japanese Keshe Foundation. We tell you how to do it, the way to do it. We set a rapid spin-off or organization as Keshe Foundation in Japan to develop, market this immediately in Fukushima area, because a lot of people in Fukushima are getting cancer. A lot of people in Fukushima are eating radiation on a daily basis. What is now available to TEPCO for their workers has to become internationally available to all of us. People in the west coast of United States, you can test your blood and see how much you are radiated. You have the same right as the man in Japan. We should be able to develop a technology where we can clean the oceans through the same way. The fishes which shown so much cancer signs, how are we going to do it? Can we change it into a dynamic system? The whole answer is yes. It's for us to develop it now. We have found the solution. It's the benefit to the mankind in what is going on, and we'll see big changes. One of the big changes, which is going to shock a lot of you, is our wish to establish and build the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Center in Ghana. Following the conference in Rome, we received generously from people who came to give. The Keshe Foundation Ghana has received donation of 100 computers that will be used in Keshe Foundation Ghana Center for bringing and making the children of the future of Ghana peaceful people. It's a special program, and we have accepted donation. We thank you as the donors to this program. We understand and we stand by you in what is the wishes of the donor, and in time this will help us in the center. In the presentation and following the presentation, we were offered the gift of the equipments which we start needing once we start building the center. We've been made an offer of a Raman spectroscopy and an infrared spectroscopy, which there is none in Ghana and in West Africa. It's too expensive to carry. And with the donation comes the education of scientists in Ghana, which we have already spoken with FDA, Standard Board, the University and Atomic Commission, that each one allocate one person to be trained by them, that they can use the facility not only by the Keshe Foundation, but by the scientific organization and governmental organization in the whole of Africa. We thank you for the gift. At the same time, the individual who gifted the Raman spectroscopy has gifted to the foundation far beyond the imagination. The gentleman is moving to Ghana in next 3 to 4 weeks, and he has offered to build the whole space station. Cost around about $25 million of the basic structure, and he's coming there to build it himself. And according to him, as he is in that business, he has already spoken to the Chinese organizations in Africa and others to start the development by the end of this month. We have, through Benjamin, asked the Ghanaian government for a rapid approval of the plan, which is done by the Ghanaian architect, that according to our donor, within 2 to 3 months, he will deliver, according to the plan we explained, the whole of the space center. This is the hospital, the building of the factory, the building of the research, and the space launch lab. We wished it and we received it. As you know, this was impossible for us in such a short time. It was our wish to build this center, and it's for the future of humanity to be given this gift. Not only that people give you a donation to build, but the man who gives the donation is building it. And he's so proud to be there. And we thank him and thank his family who are supporting it. They are moving as a family to Ghana in next 2 to 3 weeks to stay there to see the full construction through. We have put last night request to the Office of His Excellency, Mr. Nana, to be present in the opening and the start of the excavation and development. This donation will change the course that now become very fast in that direction, which we wanted to be able to serve the nation. The clinic is essential because we're getting so many people pass through the security zones to come to the foundation, to the factory, that now we can offer within the next 2 or 3 months actually a clinic to people of Ghana and the world. We thank you for the donation. Strange enough, after Rome, we went back to Barletta. We went back to home in south of Italy. We were asked if we can attend the meeting with the whole of what I call, we've been working with these people because I was in Ghana, we couldn't be seeing them, but the job was left. I always said we need land near the sea where we can do the tests and trials. Ghanaian, what you call Italian Foundation, who has been given 16,322 acres of land some 5 years ago for development, asked us to meet us in the hospital because they are part of the governmental organization and charity, and they have offered and handed over the transfer of this land to Keshe Foundation on the seafront, which gives us the possibility to complete the house for the Universal Council, the launch pad that we do not go over this land, but we land on the sea, and development of what we wished as a World Peace Council Center. We have accepted the offer of the donation, and documents have to be transferred into the name of the Keshe Foundation Ghana. And as I said, our wish is our command. We made a wish, we made a move, we served the nation, and now Italian organization has handed over a large piece of land on the seafront, near the sea, near Accra, to Keshe Foundation to carry the spaceship and building of the space station, and the house for the council, near the sea, that no man needs a visa to enter, but they enter through the space onto the land of the house. As I said, it's coming thick and fast, and it's coming out of the wish that we have shown. There were many people sitting around to see how we do. The change came by showing that we have moved into Ghana Atomic. The change came when we showed we become part of it. The more and more wealthiest people around the world have come and been waiting that when the Keshe Foundation shows a real dedication in moving, they will move with us. We showed how the cancer can be done. We're showing the others how it will be done. The energy unit will arrive in Middle East, is already here, will be demonstrated to governments, to the officials in the coming days. I'm staying in Middle East till it's completed. Dr. Parvis has cancelled all his patients to make sure that he is here, he understands the culture and understanding, to be with us, that we advised correctly, to move into the next step. As you see, we have moved out. As all of you have been there to support us, we have moved on. As I said many times, I was explaining this to Dr. Parvis today, and I explained this to Ella and Stanley and Caroline during the weekend when we stayed after the conference. Fighting is too difficult, it takes too much energy. What we do, and hopefully what we receive in the coming weeks, we announce one after another, is that by spreading the knowledge and development and manufacturing of the waters and the patches and acceptance of consumption of the zinc oxide and CO2 and the rest, we elevate the soul of the man, that the man does not want even to fight. What we are planning and what will be done. I received the biggest gift. I was hoping that I will get this done in Ghana. Guess what? John from Arizona turns up and he puts 3 buckets, each one nearly half a kilo of different gases in front of me. He says, this is a gift from Arizona. These will allow us to do a lot of development changes that we want to test in Ghana, that we can feed through the pipelines, not only clean water, but food to man. We are gathering this process, and in the coming time we will show. We feed the man not only the food, but with it we elevate the soul of the man. When you listen to the conference section of Dr. Rodriguez, he explains it so explicitly, so perfectly, that even a blind man and a deaf man to the soul of himself will understand. Not only treat the man for his physicality, but through emotion and the soul, through use of the what we have. We elevate the soul of the man and take hunger away from the man, that there is no need for a tool of war. As I said, the glorious day has come. Changes through technology. If you remember, we did energy in exchange for peace. We carry on. Now we have the backing. We have received our biggest wish. I don't think ever an organization could wish for more than what we did and what we have received. There's more equipment needed for the foundation center. Now we have to furnish it. Now we have to put materials in it. Now we have to put the factory together, that we can serve the whole of Ghana and the West Africa through this factory. We have put a request out. Do not give us money, but buy us the equipment. The way we received the Raman spectroscopy, the way we received the infrared spectroscopy, the way we received the 100 donation of the computers, that we can teach the Ghanaian children to elevate in their soul and their emotion. Now we have to go to the next step. I'm sure within the next few weeks, Ghana project will be completed. I thank all of you who donated time, those who donated the energy, those who donated the financial support, and those who donated everything else to be achieved this. Due to the problems we see and the presence of the head of the states, the opening of the Keshe Foundation Ghana will be only limited to the member of the Universal Council, to the Earth Council and the members of the core team. We will not allow the misconduct of the past 2 conferences in Dubai and in Rome last week to be repeated. By touching the soul of a person, trying to get to show you have something, now we show you you have nothing. You deprived humanity for your stupidity, but now we selectively teach the humanity that they only learn what is good for the man. This is work of a master, and I'm a master in what I do. A number of people in Keshe Foundation will be moved out because of this incident and the others. We are very clear about it. We will move out, that we don't let them, these kind of misconducts to appear in the Keshe Foundation and the supporter of the Keshe Foundation, by the souls who have not elevated, but actually deprived themselves of elevation. The structure of the Keshe Foundation moves, and in a way, as I said, by me transferring the, more or less, the running of the Keshe Foundation to a capable hand, competent hand, it gives me the freedom in what I've been trained for life to bring the Keshe Foundation on the international arena. I was too involved in everything for too long. Now, in allowing the younger team to take over, we've seen the work of Ella, we've seen the work of Armand, which shown the first space reactor in Rome. And we thank those who took, and we asked no one to take pictures, that in time we show. The spaceship unit will be demonstrated in Ghana on the opening. Armand beautifully has made 2 units. 2 units stays in Arizona. That in a way, between the 2 units, we can flight test between US and Africa over Atlantic Ocean without boring, hitting anything. I think the only thing we're gonna hit will be a whale if it jumps out by accident. And this gives us a lot of freedom. I learned this from my beloved nation of Iran. When the test flight started, we have the, what we call the Persian Gulf. We could not test, it's too crowded. But as the leaders of the nation said, we have a desert. Flight test, everything was done across the deserts of Iran. And that has shown the power of it. So now, with Accra, with the land which we received, 16,000 something acres, with the position, hopefully we should be able to secure with the American government on the east coast of United States, free flight tests, internationally shared knowledge by everyone, and I invite the new Iranian government to come in power to join us. If it is His Excellency Ayatollah Rouhani, we have full understanding, and whoever might be, if the elections goes the other way, they are invited as the Iranian space technology to join the venture of freeing man from this planet. We've seen a lot, we learned a lot, and I wonder what is your wish? We wish to have a center, we wish to have a spaceship center, and we have got it. What is the wish of humanity? What is the next step for us? What I ask you is, always they said the proof of the pudding is in eating it, as we say in English. If we see something flies, we see. If something can be shown, we all look for the energy unit, and the life of a woman will change the humanity. You see, you watch what is going to go out regarding the cancer patient, and you will understand the power of it. You understand how technology, how easy it can be changed. But it has to be in the hand of a competent doctor, like Dr. Rodriguez, who knows. And I was saying with Dr. Parvis today, we have to start teaching doctors. We have to start teaching how to use it, how to develop it. And it's not just one disease, this is one of many. One thing we see from the case which is coming, would the women produce an immune system that we can create a serum from it, that we can have it as a human race, that none of us, any changes in the body can be handled very much like a vaccine. This gives us the possibility. But this time this vaccine is not just an injection, it carries the emotion and the soul too. It'll be very interesting how this development goes. How will we produce the first injections, the first everything else. Many days will pass before we see the total picture. But in so many ways, somewhere around between 20th and the end of this month, the opening of the Keshe Foundation Ghana, or around 20th of May, which we see with appropriate time, will be done. We will open it, it will be built within months. It will be furnished and be running, and now that we have received, start getting all the documentation together, we will release everything else. The Keshe Foundation Italy manufacturing is in the process of, we have signed the documents to move in the south of Italy, and it's the first time Keshe Foundation is asking, as we said. Giovanni is, as usual, in charge of the Keshe Foundation. Giuseppe moves to be the running of the factory, as he is graciously has accepted. And we are asking the first time we put employment requirement. We would like Italians who are known to us, who, if you want to move to work in the new factory, the factory is around center of Bari, to join us. We pay the standard wages, you become employed by the company, but you have to be competent, and it's not just somebody walking off the street. We reckon we need something like 15 to 20 people initially in the first few months, and as we developed other aspects, and now that hopefully what we understood is be given premises inside the major hospital in south of Italy, that the whole knowledge will be on a research base available. The ethical committee of the hospital will approve the move, and the GANS technology will be administered in the hospital. So you can go to Italian hospital and receive the process. Anything needed will be supplied by the Keshe Foundation factory, any development. So we are not looking for those people who just make GANSs, know how to make nanomaterial. We are offering employment to the Keshe Foundation members who are innovative. They understood, and they can produce and innovate the new systems, the new technologies, the new products that it can be useful to the foundation, and this brings the first job employment request from the Keshe Foundation in Europe. The interesting point for us is the next step. At the same time, during the meeting of the conference last week in Rome, senior officers of civil defense of Italy, one of the management, was with us, and a new collaboration in a much stronger, higher way, not only for Italy, where civil defense of Italy will work closely. Giovanni has received the full support from us for the collaboration. That we merge all our research development finding immediately to civil defense organization, which has a huge research evaluation, to approve the use of the technology in the case of accidents across Italy. And because Italian civil defense is one of the most reputable ones in the world in the work they do with the research centers they have, this automatically becomes part of the international organization of European community. All these things, as they come up, we release more. As I said today, we have taught a lot, if you understood, especially for those who have used the position. But in a way, by the mistakes you made, you brought up what we would have done in the future. You asked for the master, and the master has delivered. You have failed, you have to stand to resit for your exams, as we say. Those who listened, in time their souls will receive their own level of understanding. As I said, there is no punishment, but it means you have to learn more. Those who think who can change the course of humanity by some cheap words, you have made a huge mistake. Next time you try the same in any of the conferences or anywhere across the internet, I will show the power of the master. We don't make threats, We just let your soul choose its position, which is easy, what we call a free fall for the soul of the man. You got to understand, the conduct has to be correct. And as Caroline keep on saying, not out of the fear. Nobody created the fear. It's you, because of your own misconduct, had the fear of understanding it. The fear comes from your own lack of understanding and knowledge, and not by generosity of us teaching it freely. One thing which is important for us is what's the next step in development of the technology. As we said in the Rome conference, we had the presence, and I said to them, and I said, we salute you, of the universal community, what you call in your English language, officially with us. In the coming time, I'll increase the position of the interaction. We will not use what we call to show suddenly, but we bring it according to the teaching that it can be shown correctly. There's no use. If it was to do magic, we would have done it a long time ago. The idea and the concept is as many people get educated as possible. That this time does not become again elites in the what are called the synagogue of the Jewish religion, or in the pharaoh's bunkers that they could control. One question to ask: has anybody asked the exact time and the place of the building of the pyramids and the Jewish religion? The elevation of the science and the space of the knowledge was about the same time. One, as usual, stole the soul, and the other one stole for physicality. Let us go to teaching. As I said for the last time, I thank our donors in the shape of the building, the Space Center, Raman spectroscopy. Some of the donation we received in development and the computers and the new land. And I'm sure by the time I leave Middle East in the next few days, we will have enough to what we came here for, as I said to Dr. Parviz. We come here to attain and arrange for a full understanding that we did with immediate effect within the next few months to establish 600 factories across the world. Our team has the capability to support, and we have come in the other hand to take the expertise of control of management of these factories with the team we are coming in. We haven't come just to finish in a way to have a factory. We have come to take partners who are expert in management, are part of the governmental structure, as like in Ghana, we went into partnership with the Ghana Commission and the Ghanaian government, is to run such an operation very much like what I call, always say, the best example we had was Q8 in the time when the Iraq was invaded. It showed how the investment of the nation paid for its citizens when they were across the world, all over the place, and suddenly the nation was not there. The investment looked after the Kuwaitis. We all know, none of them changed their lifestyle. The government said, how you use, what you pay, where you are, don't move, we pay. Now we don't pay cash, we pay with the knowledge to change the course of humanity, that humanity moves on. And this is how it should be. This is how we should react, and this is how we will evolve. The position comes, how do we interact? How do we see our interaction with the universal community? Now that we are building much faster than we even could imagine the Space Center, and now we have experts like John, like Armin, and the others who are moving on. Now, for example, in the teaching of the conference, we had the pleasure of one of the most beautiful men I know in Seoul. Peter was with us. Peter brought you huge knowledge a few months ago. And what he received was bunch of threats by bunch of cowards in Austria, and by the shape of the supporters of the L, threatening him and everything. And he went into teaching. He didn't want to do any experiment. What Peter brought on the table. Can I share a screen, please? This is a teaching which we did in Rome. Now you understand the significance of the work of Peter. Now that we are ready, that you understand, as the Space Center comes into operation, you all need to know what exactly is about to happen and what happens. I refer back into what you know, that it makes it easy to talk about it, because then you can relate one to another. I was explaining this to Dr. Parvis this morning at breakfast. So for me, it's the second round of Dr. Parvis sitting here smiling to see if what you missed, now you can listen. No, it's okay, sit down, you listen. I explained this in the teaching as well. If you remember, when we made the nano-coated plates and the zinc plates, we created the environment of the salt water, and the fields in between was, for example, the field of the carbon, which the extraction of this carbon here allowed the attraction of the carbon fields to be and to come in touch with the water. In absorption of that, partially some of the oxygen itself, it created the CO2. What we saw was, without the liquid, the same test by Peter. Peter had the two plates, the two cores, rotating cores, 1 and 2. What we call, if you look, plate 1 and 2. What Peter did, all it was, he made the GaNs of gold. Let's make it yellow, then it's good. And what he did, he placed the GaNs of gold here. You can't see it, I have better change it because it's not so clear. He placed a GaNs of gold rotating plasma GaNs there. And what we saw, he showed, was that on the plate which he had here, he showed us in his videos. That video is absolutely historical. He started seeing materials here. He said his gold wasn't pure, so it didn't make gold. But in fact, his gold was pure. He never understood. And we sat and watched, and I thought, one day somebody will understand. In fact, what is done, and in the teaching of last week and the week before, if you remember, in part of it, and in the teaching in the conference, I explained that if you look at the geology of the earth, you see different layers on the earth. Where do these layers come? No soil comes out of the sea or from the inside to come on the top. These soils come in a very simple way. Be it the desert, be it gold or whatever, is the interaction of the field of the sun with the interaction of the field of the earth creates, not as we always do, only the hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen to lead to the amino acid. It hasn't got a meter. It's a spectrum of fields which they interact. And this field, it creates field of gold, zinc, any other material which you can imagine. So what Peter did, by placing the gold rotating GaNs, he made this reactor, the water, the salt water. He created a new environment. And in that environment, whatever landed was the material which the fields could extract from the field of this plasma, which was created in the atmosphere of the earth. So what he brought in that position, create a physical matter out of the fields of the universe. This is what you got to do in the space. This is what I've been teaching you for years. Production of material out of the fields according to the feel of the man. So In so many ways, what he's done is very simple. He created in this area, with the interaction of the fields from here, from these two, and the interaction of the fields which says the limitation of it, I want to be a metal. He dictated the boundary, because if you look at the atomic mass field plasma of gold and understand the division of it in the proton, neutron and electron, you will understand how the metals, which he then got it tested by laboratory to confirm what they are, is part of that spectrum. So he started creating what he needed from the fields. So it wasn't that something came up. In fact, now we have seen the second method here to create what we call the ganses, here to create matter out of fields. Baha'u'llah Blessed name said, the mutation of elements, the mutation of energy into matter has been in front of the man for months. Now you have the fields. If you create the right fields in the space, you can create your matter. Conversion of energy, of fields in motion into matter has been the dream of the man, and both are on the table. The completion of the science is so radical, and is so, as I say, in front of you that you don't see. This is exactly what happened. Here we extracted the amino acid as part of this site. In this place we brought a composition of what we wanted. Here we bring in a matter state. This should show us, now that we repeated it twice, one in the gaseous state and one in the matter state, we have become masters of conversion of fields into matter state energy, or field collection, what we call plasma. So if you understood this, all we need to create the ganses to put in here and here, and create the right energy ganses here, and by transferring their energy we can create and absorb energy of the plasma of the matter of the universe. What would you like, 10 kilos of gold or 2 kilograms of iron? Depends on you and where you are in the space. Now you've all been busy with this, now you have this. I was explaining today to, can I move this thing? There is a scale on it, no I don't have it. To Dr. Parviz. Have a look what you see here. This is the soul of the man. This is the emotion of the man. And this is what it gives you. In the case of the physicality, we saw how the breath changed. Now it was a control of emotion through the fields. Now this is what I told you. The field of this will never change, it's constant and everlasting. You can put different kind of emotions into this, filtering it, and with it you will be able to create different materials here. So now if you understood, you understand, the soul of the man, the strength of the wish can give you the material you want. This is how you're going to feed your cell. I explained to Dr. Paris this morning, as a member of the Earth Council, they can put their hands out and feed the world, because they don't necessarily need to show rice or meat and potato. It's the wish of feeding that it releases the energy at the level of absorption of the man. And it's, as we say in English, to the eye of beholder what you want to receive from it. The power given to the Earth Council is being apparent and is beyond the present imagination of the man. I explained some of it in the teaching of the conference. They have in their power to transfer the energy into the food for the nations. At the same time, they have a power which, when they decide, they've been running around for 4 months not doing anything about it, because they were not even sure what they are, what they've received. Now they understand more what they got themselves into. Is that, is, and if they wish as the heads of the states of this planet for world peace, that will be done. They are the leaders, and their wish is a command. It's for them to decide when they get enough confidence in themselves that they can make that to work. So now you see it's very simple. It's been there, we did not see. And interesting enough, if you take this a step further this way, you will see the soul of the elements too. But that's for the future to man to understand. Then you don't need to make the matter. You ask the soul of the matter its strength to what you need, and it'll be delivered to what you wishes, as long as it's not determined and detriment to the life of the wisher. It's no use having a ton of gold when everybody's after you to kill you to get hold of you. But we haven't served any purpose, we just get rid of your soul, and that's a crime we cannot do. The understanding of the totality is the backbone of the knowledge of the spirits. As I said, some are fooled by themselves, and some are fooling the others on their own. You've seen the stupidity absolutely of a woman jumping and trying to say who they are for the point of fame, where actually the soul was in the room. And it was very funny, Dr. Parvez. I see the soul, and he's laughing his head off in a way, if you look at it. You haven't taught good enough. You better bring the master. So the master is here to teach good from now on. And the master knows how to give, and the master knows how to fail exams. From now on we teach as masters and not as the messengers. I'm here to deliver, and I deliver. And those who think they can change the course to see they have power in touching the others, we give you so much that you will not even touch. Some part of the Keshe Foundation who support these things will be moved radically. We remove people who abuse their position to bring the misconduct of the others. Any questions? I think he's looking. Rick is looking for his button. Are you there, Rick?
Yes, I found the button, Mr. Keshe. Thank you. I'll remind people that are viewers here on the Zoom channel that they can put their hand up. I see you have a viewer with their hand up now. I'll promote you to a panelist, and then you can ask a question. And I would advise people that we keep the questions sort of to the topic at hand for now, and if we can move into more general questions later, perhaps.
Mr. Keshe, this is John here. When we have GAN's water and we've had it in a container for several months, sometimes we get some darkish brown residue, very fine dark residue at the bottom. What is this? Is it carbon or something else?
Oh, we have a Raman spectroscopy machine. Now send it to us, we test it for you. The guesswork is gone. I don't know what you've done, because we get the same thing from the copper, and we get the same kind of thing, depends how we use the CH3.
Well, this will take time because it's very fine.
It's been there for many months. Let it be for a few more weeks.
Fine, fine. Thank you.
Because it's no use guessing. Now, a lot of guesswork with our work with Atomic Ghana Commission. I sincerely thank the staff at the Ghana Atomic Commission, from the management to the laboratories and everywhere else, the soldiers, foot soldiers which are there, that they have given us to take all the guesswork out. We don't guess anymore. This is what it is. We have systems now with our own laboratory coming on with the first system getting bought. We open the doors. You bring it in, we check it. That's what our job is. I hope we should be able to deliver this. That we don't need this. Any other question?
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Oh, hi, hi, how are you?
I'm
Abi good Azar?
yeah, I'm good, Mr. Keshe.
عید خوش گذشت، 13 گره زدی؟
نه 13 از من گذشته Mr. Keshe.
بریم من شما باید بریم درخت گره بزنیم.
Mr. Keshe, I didn't understand what happened in Rome. There was some soul came to the room.
No, there was no soul. It was a presence of what we call our friends.
So they were looking for physicality and there was no physicality.
They were there in physical, but the body was not aware of it.
I see.
Any other question?
That's the first time I've heard her be that quiet after a question, and expected several more, but that's very good. Thank you.
I think she's. Let me explain to you what
I think she finally got an answer that she could, that she really recognized. Yeah, she needs to work with it a bit.
Let me explain what I do the Persian translation. At least I can do. I hope I know enough Persian to translate. You heard me speaking to Azar in Farsi. The Iranian New Year, as the Christianity has been copied of it, is 12 days, which starts from 21st of March. And then on the 13th day, on the first day, we leave what we grow from wheat, from any kind of lentils. We allow a couple of weeks before of the new year, we grow these, that the green grass comes. It's a sign of the beginning of spring, it's a new life, as part of the table of the new year. And then the tradition is, on the 13th day, we take this into the open, that the spring comes and the new life starts. And the tradition is, because this thing grows to sometimes about 10-15 centimeters high, we put a ribbon around it, it's beautiful, call it sabze, which means the green. The women usually tie a knot from the grass, which is over the green, and they make a wish, and they always wish to get married that day. And they say the tradition is that if you make a wish, by the time the knot opens up, your wish comes true. And then we throw this into the water, that it taken to the hold of the universe, or the planet Earth. I wish that it finds a solution for me. And what I said to Azar, the time of you and me to tie this knot to find a partner, because she's a single, is gone. Nowadays we have to tie 2 trees together, which changes our luck. So it's the humor of the Persian culture.
You know, especially Mr. Keshe, if you want to wish for peace, we have to tie a tree because it's.
Now we got to tie the whole earth. That's the hardest one.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Thank you very much, Azarjan. To understand the culture, it's not just speaking it, it's to understand what it sits, the emotion sits behind it. Any other question? Very interesting. The people of crystalline universe. Wow, they're rubbish. We crystallize you to become the universe of crystals. Any other question?
Nobody has any question. I have a question.
No, we have to let you go, Azar. You asked too many questions.
So it's okay.
Okay, let us see what comes out.
We have a viewer who just became a panelist. Perhaps they can ask a question. I think there's another viewer who also became a panelist. Let's see. Did they come through here? I'll get back to my panelists.
Okay.
Magella was just come in. I'll unmute you and you can ask a question if that's what's going on there. Hello, Magella?
Yes, hello. Sorry, I was late. Right. I have a few questions for Mr. Keshe. Hi, Mr. Keshe.
Can you say where you're from as well, please?
Yes, this is Justin from Quebec City.
From Quebec City.
Yes.
Oh, yes, you've been on before, correct? Yes.
Yes, Major.
This is Mr. Keshe liked your French accent last time, I think.
Yeah, I like any French accent. It's my
Okay.
Thank you very much. Mr. Keshe, last time, when I adjust my, it's too high. Okay, do you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Last time you asked for measurement to measure the plasma. I have a friend of mine who has a computer with a software which could measure. He puts something on a plate. This is a device, and this could measure all kinds of frequency. So, but you told that we had to nano-coat the materials, but how could we nano-coat a part of a hardware like a computer to before the measurement?
I don't know. When you find out, let me know.
Maybe we can.
I don't think you're going to put the computer in caustic by any chance.
Yeah, this is what I was about to say. If I will spray some.
Can I answer you? Can I answer you with a French accent?
Oh yes, do you speak French?
I try to do a little bit, but
your wife speaks French, right?
But no problem. What it is now? Let me show you what you can do. You're not wrong. You asked a beautiful question, and I try to answer you if you understand.
Thank you.
If you look at first of all the Iranian capture of the American satellite, what we call the drone.
Yes, it was done in.
Let me explain, please.
Yes.
When the craft was captured, nothing was changed that printed circuits of the chips could not be copied. That's why how Iranian copied everything. And if you understand what this implies, the other thing is go back into what you already done. If you made maggrav systems and you connected it to the house and it actually works as a maggrav system, you will see the copper wires start nano-coating right across the house. It goes black. So this teaches you two things. One is that you don't need to nano-coat with caustic if you saw the pipes. Second thing is that you can cross the fields of the plasma to encapsulate the whole computer, that it becomes part of the plasma itself. It's like when you put the food in your mouth, it's a matter before it, and when you put it in your mouth, it becomes part of the gans state. So if you understood that, you know exactly what you got to do, how to nano-coat anything without actually touching it. You don't need to nano-coat it to behave. You create the environment that is in a gans state, that it behaves as a superconductor in a position. In so many ways you can change the present computers, if you understand, by bringing it into the field of the operation of the, what do you call it, the system you make. By nano-coating it, you destroy it because it changes characteristic. But by encapsulating it, go back into one of the patents. I don't know, is there, or I've written a paper, or we discussed it before, years ago. If you understood how to nano-coat a box, you can put anything in that box and take it across all these X-ray machines, whatever is in the airports, nobody will see what's inside it. Secondly, they don't even see the material, unless your nano-coating is not good enough that the field might touch something and they see blood. Because it's a dynamic living, field transfer will go through it. So the only option for you is to create an environment. That environment you can change according to what you need, when you need it, the way you need it. I really enjoyed when I saw the capture, because it showed the superiority of technology.
Yes.
Nothing put more fear in the whole of American security and American government than seeing that biggest secure aircraft being brought out so safely. And then the worst thing, the nightmare was, have you heard what they call copycatting, replicating? Iran now, you can buy the same thing as what United States of billions for a few thousand. They're in the market now. What we call industrial wholesale of the most advanced technology. Because when it was captured as a whole. They didn't change the nanomaterials, they didn't change the structure. But when you do caustic, you change the structure. So if you want to cover it, put it in the field, you can control it. That's much easier. And the material gradually will change into a nanoconductor. The whole thing has to change at the same time.
Yes, Mr. Keshe.
Yes.
I understand that you did this with extracting, was it plastic? But how?
We don't extract. If you want to extract plastic out of a component, you make exactly what you see with Peter. You make two cores with the presence of it, but it has to be extracting the other parts that what you want is left inside.
Yeah, but the problem is how do you target a precise matter or a precise part? Say you want to extract carbon, you want to extract carbon of the whole universe, you know. But the question is...
No, it will not be done that way. There is no way. You have to understand, you have to understand how the system works. You can limit it. The gravitational magnetic field effect of this Earth doesn't go the whole of universe. It goes, but the effectiveness of it is limited to 60-100 kilometers. It's the effectiveness which you control.
Yeah, I understand. But if there is carbons you don't want to extract in these perimeter, how do you target the thing more precisely?
I think somebody's going to do that very soon. I know that people are working on it, extraction, because this is part of the Keshe Foundation for mining. The biggest problem now is not going down into the mines to collect, it's what we absorb like a CO2 from the above. This is stupid to go in and dig a hole and make all these holes like a rat and a mouse and a worm, where with Peter we have seen, you can produce the right thing, it falls off the sky on your head. Just be careful big chunks doesn't drop out.
Yeah. Now. So
now you have to find the right strength.
Yeah, I will study this anew tomorrow. For I do not understand on the spot exactly what you said. Okay, but I have another question.
You didn't understand, or didn't I understand?
Because I do not speak English so good, you know.
I'm prepared to come and do it in French accent, then you might understand.
Oh yes, I would love it.
I have a wife.
Answer the next question in French, okay?
Yeah, no problem. I have a wife which speaks French.
Right. right. Do you want me to ask the question in French or in English?
Yes, no problem.
All right.
Okay.
So
Is
if
Caroline in
if
the
I have
background?
too much problems in
Wait
English,
1
I'll
second.
do it in French, okay?
Okay, just wait. I have to ask for a translator to come. Is she there? Is Caroline in the background?
Yes.
She says she's not coming today.
Oh.
Oh.
Doesn't matter so much.
We've got Guy here.
I'll manage.
Guy is beside me. We might be able to talk Jackie as well. So we have
let's
that.
Guy speak. Guy speaks with the soul of the core. Translator, Guy, please. Both in English and with a hi, Guy. How are you?
Yeah,
Hi, I'm doing all right, Mr. Keshe. Nice to speak to you again.
Okay. Where are you from, Guy?
Moi, je viens de Montréal.
Ah, Montréal. Okay.
Originairement de Montréal.
Yeah. So you know about Flibot, François Flibot? Are you with the? Huh?
Yes, I know François Flibot very well. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I have a friend of mine who know him very well. And
Jean-François, and you know, there's many people in Quebec, I guess.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to explain it in French or in English?
I start in English. If I have some trouble, I ask Guy to complete. Okay.
No problem.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
We speak many languages in Keshe Foundation.
Okay, so I have so many questions, but I try to limit to the first question about extracting some materials out of what you say you want to disable a plane or a war artifact. So if everyone can extract everything, or many people, let's say you have 3 people who want to extract something, and one is creating what you extract after. You have kind of game of who is the stronger. Yeah, we can, with your technology, you can play like God. So if you have many gods who plays to one cancel something and the other one put it back or something, what would be the output of all this game at the end? You know, could it be that the solution would be the education because somebody can play with plasma? Do you understand it?
You can play with the plasma the way you like.
Yeah, but if you are 2 guys who play with the plasma, one wants war, and the other wants peace, who is going to win at the end? Do you understand it?
You see, there is a very, very interesting question, and I'm going to ask you a very, very simple way.
Okay.
You call a war is destruction. You call a peace is giving, because when you're at peace, you give. And the one who takes always finds out the giver gives more. The more he gives, he elevates. The work will never happen. That's why there is no war in deep space. The war, when you kill something, you take away, you change the course of action. And that is what you cannot do. It's a very strange, the more you educate yourself, you find out these things will vanish from the vocabulary of the man and even his brain. And but if you want to compare which one in what strength you take, you can take anything from any environment. It's just like you got to find the tuner for the emotion. It's like very much when the director says cry and the actor has to cry. He dictates the emotion, and the body and the what you call the physicality of the actor carries out to satisfy the need, in a way to satisfy that I can do itself.
So do you mean the one who with bad intention won't succeed?
You see, the bad intention is to you bad intention, but what is his intention? This is what I explained in the conference, in the teachings. I've said this many times. I repeat it again in different shape or format. You have to understand Just wait, I'm answering somebody very urgent here. It's something to do with the conference. You wish to move, I explained this in another teaching, and you push it, you kick it, you move it with the finger, you create a wind on it, whatever. Or, as I was explaining, you put the thing on the table, you say, you move, it gives me pleasure to see that I understand your soul. And I can give you from mine, that it pleases you by pleasing me. And the stone will move. In the history of man, there are many examples, but people never understood. And I've explained in other teachings. It's not that I want you to move, I create as many fields as you like. I said to Dr. Parvis today, and I said in the conference, in the writing of Baha'u'llah Blessed's name, he says, even the soul, even the stone has a soul. If you can teach the stone soul that your presence of moving will give me a pleasure that I can share with you, that you see my pleasure of seeing you moving, the stone will move because you find balance with it.
Okay, could I ask another question now?
No. Well, let's see if there are any more, then we come back. You can come back every week like Azar.
Yeah, but I have something very important to say.
Okay, so
this is about your finance. I know somebody who knows a sheikh. Okay, the sheikh is could be in touch with the king of Morocco, who is very rich.
These things you can discuss with us in the background.
Yeah, but I have not had no reply so far.
Send it to the webmaster. I read what has been forwarded to me. I've seen it. I think I've seen it through.
Oh yes.
Or it came to us.
Good.
And I think I replied somewhere, if I'm correct. I get so many emails in different lines.
Oh, yes, that's right, Mr. Keshe. And we're working on it. I'm trying to run it through security and so on to make sure things are lined up and all good to go. So it takes time sometimes.
We appreciate that. Thank you very much for your kind work and offer.
Yes.
We are with some sheikhs.
Huh?
I said we are with some sheikhs.
Great, but this is your cousin.
We are in the beautiful part of Persian Gulf.
Yeah, this is your cousin, for he's a direct offspring of Mahomet, like you. Huh?
Pardon?
He's his line is direct from Mahomet. So, like your line is.
I understand.
This is your cousin.
I understand. Let us, Rick, explain to you. We have a structure of security pattern.
Yes, I understand. I do understand very much.
When you said it, I know who this, what your email is.
Yes.
They are looking into it, and he'll come back to you in time.
Okay, I'm reassured now. The next question.
No, we got to stop. We give you a question next week.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe, for answering my questions.
Thank you very much.
Good day.
Any other question? Good day to you, sir.
A panelist, Arthur, who would like to show his gold field setup. That's
have you seen it before?
I haven't. I don't think I've seen it, but maybe we could get him to talk about it a bit first, or would you not want to go there? I'm not sure.
Because we have some shocks with people coming and showing, and they have a music and they have other things in the background.
Yeah, I prefer to see the actual presentation that he's going
We
to do.
prefer, if you can get it, have a look at it, bring it next week. We got to be very, very careful.
Okay.
Yeah, please. If it is, please can you sort it out with Rick, and we'll let you show it. We asked Peter, and we asked a lot of you. A lot of you did the CO2 kit. Now you understand how to make material by creating conditional fields. Please do as many as you can. Try to, if you don't see anything, it don't mean it's failed. You have to move the equipment. Move till you see something. It doesn't mean that's going to happen there and then. If you create the condition of, let's say, gold, and there is in that position at that time no plasma of the gold in the atmosphere, it doesn't mean you fail. It's not there to deliver. You understand? So when you test, move things around, push things up and down, and see what happens. Change the speed, change the density, and see what happens. You get more copper, or you get more gold, or you make whatever. The object is not to make gold. The object is to start learning that how we can change and transfer fields into matter state. We done it with the GANs, but we transfer the fields of the energy in the compression of the fields to show themselves, manifest themselves as ganses. Now this is the next step. But it's been there, it's been a long time, it's the work of the universe. Any other question?
Okay, we do have a question from someone, Ram Atmansor, regarding the health cup.
Yes, can I ask you a question? Do you see Caroline in the background anywhere? Or is she silent, or is she there? She says she wants to be equal and teach. We want her to go and teach some flying systems or whatever she's good at. Can we have the question, please?
Thank you, Rick, for giving me the micro. Hello, Mr. Keshe. I am Ram from France. Or I should like to speak French, of course. But anyway, I try to explain in English my experiments, my last experiments about the health cup, double-walled health cup. I prepared the water this way by using the energy of ZNO GANS water. And as I told you last week, I think, or the week before, I use a pendulum. With a pendulum, I can distinguish in magnetic field, I can distinguish the North Pole and the South Pole. My pendulum turns turns clockwise for South Pole and anti-clockwise for North Pole. So what I find with the GANS water, it's like a magnetic, like a magnet. It's like a magnet, and it is South Pole oriented. I mean, what I found after 10 years, the water in the cup have taken the energy of the ZNO water. And what happens? This water that I can drink now, I take it out, and the zinc and the GANS water of ZNO now has changed the orientation of its field. Instead of being south oriented, the pole is now north oriented.
Excuse me, I think you said 10 years. Did you mean 10 days, perhaps?
I said 10 days, sorry.
Okay, good. Just to be clear.
That's far behind before
I thought he was an old timer there. And,
very old timer.
No,
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I am continuing this type of experiments. with.
But can you record it and show us? It's
Yes.
very interesting what you discuss.
If you like to see it, I can show it to you through. You want to see it?
Is it live or is it recorded?
No, it's not recorded. It's live. You can see it in
Yes,
live.
please. I'm gonna stop sharing. Rick, can you stop me sharing, or I'm gonna do it myself? Okay, you
I
got
think he can go right ahead and just share his video there.
I take just a few minutes to bring everything now on the desk, and you can see my pendulum.
No, we can't see anything. You got to share your camera first.
Yeah, maybe maybe he needs a few minutes. We could maybe show something else first and come back to you. Do you want to do it that way, Ram?
Okay, Rick. Okay.
All right, that sounds good, because we have a couple other people with questions, and we can come right back to them.
Okay.
Maybe we'll just have another quick question here. There's Leon.
Can I explain something before we go into?
Mm-hmm.
Just 1 second, because I have to phrase it.
Do you need to just do a
let me explain a couple of things, the way we have changed a lot of things. You know, when it comes to we are teaching so freely, and a lot of people come around the foundation, and then they use our own teaching to confirm that they are the original teachers or whatever, and they appear, because when he said 10 years or so, he brought this back to me. We teach freely, you can claim whatever you like. The knowledge, if you had such a knowledge and you did not do it, and you think it's your knowledge, share it. It's the knowledge of humanity. And if by learning from us, it makes you so arrogant to think that you're in charge, you already lost the game. You will lose, in a way, the knowledge that even you inspired you to learn. You will see a change of position in respect to the Keshe Foundation. If you go on the facts about Dirk, we have put all the praises of Dirk on the Keshe Foundation website. For many years, he's written many articles about the Keshe Foundation, about my work. And there are two things. He's been misguided that time, or he was working on a plan, or he's working on a new plan which shows my guidance. So what we are doing, if you have seen any entries anywhere done by Dirk and his people, Sylvester or whatever, bring it in. Let's put it on the table. We bring them the positive energy that they see, and then it's for them to show what they have done and what they do. There's a fact, when I saw the entry done by security, it was a relief that now every week we publish whatever you can find. You don't see it on KF, put it on, go on facts about Dirk and put it in, send it to us, we publish it. 10 years of everything else phrasing, and then suddenly when a pedophile gets captured, a supplier changes the position. We don't care. The situation is handled in the court of Holland, Human Rights Court, and the situation is in the hand of Italian police and Dutch police, and the investigation is taking a very drastic course in this matter. Let them judge it, not us. But what we try to do from now on, we take their praises, because if was truth in what they've written, they were from the beginning a liar from the beginning, we all see it, it's for theirs. So go on the Keshe Foundation, go and see around the world what has been put in by Dirk and Sylvester praising us, and take it as the truth. And then we know what is lying. Bless their soul that they terminate their own actions and their own doing. It's beautiful when I read a lot of things, and it was very, very interesting when I received it and it's put on. It's amazing how I have been praised by, what do you call it? It says, Keshe discovered that it is possible to transform gases into liquid and solid state, a state that he calls GANs. Interesting is that such a CO2 or CH3 in the GANs state stays in that state, that with us going back to in his state gas. Keshe's discovery refused actual knowledge you find on Wikipedia, which says that the solid CO2 can only be found by dry ice and minus 75, 78 degrees. Another patch, we thank him for all these writing, it brings so many memories back. It says Keshe has the solution for global warming, but who cares? It still amazes me, that's Mr. Dirk. Having witnessed myself several times of the direct capturing of witness, as you see, CO2, CH3 experiments of Mehran Keshe, how certain governments like that of Belgium refuses such a new development, which in fact is the solution for global warming. By such a direct capturing CO2, Keshe have showed that CO2 and CH3 can be captured at the room temperature and normal pressure in liquid state. And later hydrate into solid state. Keshe discovered that it is possible to transform gases into liquid. These are the links, go and read it, it's amazing. I didn't know the guy praised me so long, but it's good. From now on, we only put his positive things on. It says in the link below, says direct absorption of the carbon dioxide, CO2 and methane CH3 goes from the environment and their conversion. I'll read you another article which is very nice. It says where for extra 11 billion euro of the sum originally proposed, the EU can now make 30% CO2 cut. And then he goes on, and it is very, very interesting. We didn't know we have so much praise. And the best one is this by the MS presentation in 2012 at NINO, the Keshe Foundation Center. And it's very interesting. And he unveils the corrupt politician, Hans.B, and his network in Belgian police and Belgian Secret Service. So we are sending his writing, because he's one of them, or he told us the truth, now we know it is, to the Belgian authorities. It's on the Facebook, you can do it. And then in the February of 28, 2004, it says, this is his writing, it says next to that, a prominent lawyer from Leuven, which had the function of the head of the cabinet in the cabinet minister of the interior affairs, Patrick de Walle, had a personal issue with empty Keshe. HP tried before to get hand on the technology of the empty Keshe and his lawyer for technology transfer, but the empty Keshe refuses. In his function as a head of the cabinet, Mr. was able to control the police force and Belgium Secret Service. Thus, it was easy to create a terrorist case against empty Keshe. Now we see the truth. Inside a senior civil servant, he knew what they were doing. This is all the praise of that fluorescence. You have given the biggest gift to the human race by writing this. This is your writing as a senior civil servant. This is highly appreciated by European Court of Justice. You have just written the warrant for the arrest. It's published, mentioning name and officers. They say it's good. And I'll read you another extract. It says the case of Mehran Tawakkoli Keshe is important. It shows how incompetent information of a government can turn against an innocent person. I am innocent. I will explain more. Empty Keshe is an Iranian national. He's a nuclear engineer. Even during his study at Queen Mary in London, he did not agree with a certain nuclear knowledge at that moment. Over the year, in his spare time, he worked on these personal ideas about the nuclear interaction. And it goes on. It goes on the state of art, the basic isotopes interaction, which are opposite the standard state of art nuclear knowledge, taught worldwide as the universities by Nobel Prize lecturers, with called emperors of the science gatekeepers. But peer review such as science gatekeepers keep control over the science knowledge, mostly to confirm their own importance. Over 30 years, MT Keshe experimented in his garage, a lab, to verify or to falsify his personal assumptions. So he saw that the number of soft nuclear reactions were possible without the use of high energies as triggers. In example, where the traditional nuclear science claimed that gamma rays were needed to give a certain outcome, MT Keshe shows that the same outcome was possible without gamma rays. They like a process to create nanomaterials, a process unknown the nuclear science, the process unknown to nuclear science community worldwide. MT Keshe was able to create nanomaterials by the use of consumer products from supermarket. So when MT Keshe delivered samples of these materials to famous nano institute, IMEC Leuven, for tests with Raman spectroscopy, there was a panic in the Belgian government. Some PhD in IMEC claimed that that was only possible by the use of gamma rays, so an Iranian scientist was used gamma rays, so he needed to have source of gamma rays. Belgium, yes, gamma rays in Belgium. Thus MT Keshe was able to make a Belgian nuclear bomb. So a red flag secret service operation started in Belgium. The case became a national security issue. So he knows exactly what it is. Thank you very much, Mr. Declarescence. Thank you for explaining this in writing on the internet. We just submitted to the International Court of Justice. The press was censored to speak about MT Keshe. Professors in Belgium were pressed to stop all contacts with MT Keshe. They received telephone calls with warning. He knows that you see the same pattern we see with him and what do you call it, Sylvester, making calls. Even members of the parliament were censored or threatened to speak about Keshe Foundation technology. Next to that, a prominent lawyer from Leuven, Hans, we know who he is. He now is the head of the European Space Agency, which had the function of head of cabinet of Minister of Interior Affairs, Patrick de Waala, had a personal issue with MT Keshe. Mr. HP tried before to get hand on the technology of MT Keshe as his lawyer for technology transfer, but MT Keshe refused. In this function, as a head of cabinet, Hans B. was able to control the police force and Belgium Secret Service. Thus, it was easy to create a terrorist case against MT Keshe. Once it was inside the Belgium computer system, the Secret Service, and that a terrorist file was shared with other European and Five Eyes secret services. So worldwide secret services consider MT Keshe to be a potential terrorist who had in his possession gamma sources. However, the world terrorist case was created in first instance by corrupt politician Hans Bracanier, the head of European Space Agency, the present head of a space agency. And this network in Belgian police and Belgium Secret Service, and in second instance by the personal possession of gamma ray sources, which was simple to lack of understanding of the hidden and unknown nuclear interaction. The ignorance of the 1600 PhD employees of science in IMEC, and even that resulted one day in a police interview of myself, where I was asked if I was building in Belgium a bomb together with MT Keshe. So I requested the Belgian authorities and Secret Service, the staff of Belgium and the United States, to clean the files of MT Keshe from all hoax and false information. I'm sure the services will read this. The picture of Declarescence and his entry dated February of 2014. Now you can see how we've been set up. explained by a man who's a senior officer and he knows how it was done. He says, Dirk Laureyssen asserted Belgium is a small country with a small brain. Dirk Laureyssen shared link to the group Keshe Bulgarian Thought Group, September the 6th, 2014. The effort of the Bulgarian government to block, Belgian government to block MT Keshe started with claiming that he was a terrorist based on the false assertion, fabrication by the person which tried to get exclusive hold of its technology. Don't forget, the King of Belgium came to see me and asked for it, and I said, I've given it to the world, you can't have it. Shame you, Belgium. This is the writing of Dirk Laureyssen on the internet. All the links are there, you can read it. Belgian government tries to block technology that can offers the solution for nuclear contamination in Fukushima. The hidden agenda of the Belgian government related to Iranian nuclear engineer MT Keshe and against his plasma technology is amazing. This is writing of Mr. Dirk Laureyssen. Against all logic, and is even an attack against humanity. The basic reason is corruption. The persons which try to have personal profit from the technology of MT Keshe have that much influence on the Belgian government that they still do everything that they can to block Keshe plasma technology. Even if Keshe recently proved to be able to decontaminate radioactive, reactive, polluted waters and soil. The status of the recent experiment in Japan can be followed in the links. He gives you all the links. The Belgian government tries to block the technology and scientific insight that can protect the 7 billion inhabitants of the Mother Earth, its billion animals and its zillion of planet from radioactive pollution. The effect of the Belgian government to block MT Keshe started with claiming that he was a terrorist based on a false accusation. And now you see it is coming up more and more. It's his own handwriting. He's there with his picture on it. And what he says at the end, my conclusion, the Belgian government tries to block a technology can solve a part of the nuclear danger, an important technology for humanity. This is Dirk Laureyssen. Shame you, Belgium. Belgium is a small country with small brains. This is the writing of senior civil servant in the government of the Belgium. And it says, Dirk Laureyssen spoke the truth. Now you understand how we've been set up in the hand of one of the senior civil servants. He knows the operation. He used the operation. Thank you very much, Dirk. We decided we are not going to write unless you go wrong. We write to correct you, the same as you did. You missed to inform people that the gentleman who you said it was a pedophile be supporting, that is proven innocent in the court of justice in the international court and is being given damages. Governments can fabricate anything in their court. I know what this means. When I was in Canada, they set up a kangaroo court for me, and I was told, we paid the lawyers $5,000 to present me. The lawyer could not turn up. They threatened his life. The family of what you know, one of the most famous telephone operations in the world, BlackBerry, the friend of our family, through my sister, they were prepared to intervene. They were told they cannot touch because of the Belgian police and putting me on the terrorist list. And when I appeared in the court, I was told if I talk to the judge that why and how they arrested, they put a bullet into my head when I come out of the court. This is the justice of Mr. Hans Brackenier. Now we can speak because it's in public. We don't make accusation. It's there. There are more writings. It shows how these people take and they want to benefit it. As I said, when the King of Belgium sat in next to me for an hour and a half, in a way threatening me to give my technology, I said to him, I can give you one thing, is my books, and I signed 3 books for him. I hope he reads it very nicely when he spends the rest of his time behind the cell. They have done it so naturally for such a long time. We have asked the International Court to look into all the companies owned by Hans Brackenier. how he comes to be suddenly in charge. And now we are looking for scientists who have been killed or died or disappeared in United States, in Tokyo, in Japan, in South Korea, in China. IMAC has opened a branch in China. How many more scientists? The only thing is car accident and heart attack. These are the two systems used. Both been used on me and my family. We defend our case on the ground that we've been the victims, not making accusations. You have our search team are working very heavily, and if you find anything, praise of the Keshe Foundation by anybody who now claim to be the victims, bring them on. From now on, we don't fight them, we use their praises. And then go on the victims of Keshe Foundation and put a link that who these people are. The biggest problem we had was we could not connect a prosecutor how they were silencing people. The prosecutor was hidden. Now we know the name of the prosecutor which works with the police and the Hans. There is no position for Mr. Hans Bracquenier as the head of European Space Agency where the NATO information is transferred to the enemies of the state of Europe. We deliver documentation. We have raised a huge question with South Korean government, as I said before, and with the American government in NATO. How a third nation, third world nation, can launch rocket, can test nuclear, have all the latest technology. They are sold and given technology through European Space Agency. The man who steals, sells it too. We have made this very clear with the American authorities in Rome in our conversation in past week. Hard-working European space science, hard-working French rocket for satellites are sold out of the position of misconduct. Mr. Hans Bracquenier, we challenge you. We have all the documents. The same with the police in Cortec, and now we were looking for the prosecutor who was falsifying documents and bringing people and silencing them. Now we found the prosecutor too. That was a missing link. Now the whole circle is complete. And from now on, we don't say anything. If they make a mistake, we correct it. We corrected in past 2 or 3 weeks, you've seen it. Our intellectual right belongs to humanity, not to a bunch of criminals. And now we submit all this information to what we call Human Court of Justice, and all these fake court cases and calling us terrorists has been explained by Mr. Lorenz, a senior civil servant knowing how it works. He has shown us in his own writing on the internet. We kept silent. As I said, it was important for us to find the prosecutor. Now, in a falsified case, we have found the prosecutor. We haven't found it, it popped up. So now we have the police, the prosecutor, the king and his elements. There is a question in the personal behavior of Hans. This will disclose in the future. There is misconduct in sexual behavior. And we explain this. And there is a relationship with the time of the promotion of the officer to a higher rank and the time of criminalities. In 2001, he was promoted by royal assent to a higher point. This is just about when Slot was murdered. He was promoted again after the death of Marco in prison, where they found the suitcase. The security services are working very fast. The Keshe Foundation intelligence system is working very fast. We have unraveled the biggest murder organization, mafia in scientific organization, headed by the head of the state of Belgium. Bring the website down. Documents are in the offices of the American intelligence. Offices are with the European Space Agency. We have sent a copy of these tapes to Interpol. and we have a full protection. If I was a terrorist, I could not freely travel from Africa into Italy, from Italy to Romania, from Romania back to Italy, and now to Middle East. We are well protected by those who knew what was going on. The only thing we were missing was a prosecutor in the court of Belgium in Kortrijk. Now he's issued it, now the circle is complete. We can push with the European Court for the whole book to be finished. I thank you, Mr. Dirk Lorentzens, for your writing. As a high-level Secret Service, the way you took information, you showed us how to do it, is in writing, and we are submitting your writing, your praises and how it's done to the International Court of Justice. And we send a request and copy of this to European Space Agency, how highest level works so hard in Europe by scientists are getting sold in the backhanders, that then it creates threats on the rest of the world on nuclear warheads, electronic launch, and everything else. In Iran, as a wealthy nation in space technology and nuclear, we still haven't managed to sort it out. How can a third world nation, North Korea, get access to so much information in such a short time? Do you remember the case of Mr. Hussein? Mr. Hussein used to work at about the same time as when I was with British Nuclear Fuel. He walked out with the whole technology of the atomic bomb, went to Pakistan and made the state of Pakistan a nation of nuclear weapons. We have the same thing now sitting at the head of the European Space Agency. We challenge. I stand in any court and we can see how it works. We have enough information, and we have shared it with the American Embassy in an open line with what they call intelligence services of United States. We have shared the same thing with the Korean ambassador directly, that they know the pattern of the work. Please send a copy of this directly to any agency you know. I ask our team in the background, cut this piece, and the last piece as I was spoken, into every police station in Belgium, every court in Belgium, and put the links as it is, where it says fact about Dirk, and let them read it how they operate. As a senior civil servant, he's done it, he knew what it's done. So in the background he was telling us, but we didn't understand. Now we see the operation, discreditation and everything else. But now we see there's been a lot of praises, but opened up the eye. He's been lying then, or he's lying now. The whole lying now, it came after we captured one of the biggest supplier of child trafficking. Now he got touched by it himself. Before it was scientific. As we are developing more and more intelligence, we see many scientists have been killed this way, and all links up, like the pedophile cases, into Antwerp and Belgium. We see disappearance of scientists in South Korea. We see heart attack and death in number of scientists who work with us in TEPCO. The gentleman who did all the work with us in TEPCO has been found dead in a car accident. The gentleman who actually did the test live with us in TEPCO is missing, presumed dead. We can release the names, we have all their business cards. A number of scientists. What happened? We had the mafia in whatever, extortion. This mafia team of scientific killed to gain money, to gain power, has been running for a long time. It goes back most probably before the time of Mr. Slot. We have shared all this with the Dutch police force. We have a direct contact. They have set up a group to look into this, because in this process, Dutch government lost billions. The knowledge which Mr. Slot carried with him at the moment is a multi-trillion business, video compression. This should have gone to Philips International, created a lot of wealth for the Dutch nation and a lot of employment. By killing him, they transferred the knowledge into Belgium. That was the function of Mr. whatever it is, plus the police. And anybody who came up with it, set it up, had to be silenced. That's why Marco was killed. Suicide, a very healthy man. I met him twice with Dirk for negotiation between the Keshe Foundation at that time and Continental Tires of Germany. Continental Tire has a battery division. They wanted to develop our plasma technology, and then it disappeared, because now we know what they've done. We have to look into the affairs of Continental, see what happened, what negotiations we did with Olivia of the Continental. If you're a scientist, if you're a Keshe Foundation supporter, release your knowledge. Releasing a knowledge to share shows the strength and the power of the sincerity of serving humanity. Not being afraid by few telephone calls. We submit, and please, security is in the background, cut this off the way you've done with the teaching of the cancer you're releasing, and send a copy of this to every police station, head of the police of European services, European agencies, all the channels, any link you find, flood the internet, especially American. We think in the past 3 months, 4 American scientists in the space technology and nanotechnology has been killed by the same group. Don't forget, Braconier is the internal lawyer of IMEC. Been. And Mr. Braconier flies every time the present King of Belgium travels. He's always been in his entourage. We know too much. And now it's our job. Please separate it and put it on the internet. We're not making any accusation. It's the writing of a man from a Belgium senior civil servant knowing the operation, blowing whistle on his partners. Maybe they didn't pay him enough. Maybe it was trying to save us. And it has to be investigated. If you receive a threat, call us. If you find anything about the praise of Keshe Foundation, the work we've done, and by anyone now is a victim, link it up, send it to Webmaster. We get it sorted. As I said, we are here to serve, and we received many gifts. And I said today to our securities, this is the best gift we could have. Thank you very much. We rejoice in what we have received in any shape or form. I like to thank our contributor to building of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Center in Ghana. You'll be greeted and you'll be welcomed by the President and the government. And now that we have got the building done, we are looking for furnishing the latest equipment. We have received the Raman spectroscopy. We need many, many equipment which allows us to measure fields. This is if you are aware of a system that it can measure fields and belongs to certain companies that is in the market legally for sale, we ask our donors to buy it or finance it to be bought by the foundation. We received a massive donation because in 1 week we served the humanity unconditionally in Rome, and the payment was for the humanity to be served. We'll carry on with this work, we don't give up. There is a question about who and how and why. It's just the way it is. Caroline wants to teach that you can share knowledge equally. Maybe we don't need to be taught the science of how to do it and how to fly it, but maybe to look in the science of the soul of the man. And maybe that's the time. She wants to be equal in everything. Maybe it's time that we bring her in. Because she thinks she can contribute more. And it's time for her to be. Many of you took pleasure in some of her teaching, and many of us know she's very controversial. Maybe that's why we are husband and wife. She stood a lot with me. She got beaten up by Mr. Delanois while I was listening on the phone. She got more or less attacked in the same car. She's been harassed beyond by Mr. Delanois of the police of Kortrijk. And in so many ways, she lost home, not me, because she's a Belgian. We have to escape to stay alive. Maybe she suffered more than me. I've been a gypsy all my life in the West Bands of New Universe. Maybe she had to learn it the first time. Maybe it's time to bring some women influence into the Keshe Foundation. There are too many men. We have too many heads of states of Keshe Foundation. Our factory director is a woman. Keshe Foundation is now operated and run by a woman. The head of the, what we call the executive chief officer of the Universal Council is a woman. I think it's time for us men to step down, take a rest. Maybe I stop teaching, and from now on we leave it to Caroline to teach the soul of the man. Maybe there's a guideline for a lot of other people to come in. But the beauty of it is, at the end of it, is serve humanity to come out of this mess. And as I said, we don't go and fight the armies, we give them so much that they forget they need to carry a gun. Thank you very much for today. We are not very far from the resting place of Muhammad, bless his name. Maybe his soul is with us. Maybe it's time to unify the path of belief in one. We were near Vatican last week in the conference. Now this time we are near Mecca. Maybe it's time to bring the changes. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next week, hopefully with a new teacher. I'm resigning. I had enough. I taught for 20 years. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Always new surprises. Okay.
Yes, but go to Keshe, go facts about Dirk and read it. It's amazing. We didn't put anything, all is done by him.
Okay,
we
thank
forgot
you.
the gift. We were so busy, we forgot how they give us the gifts. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, the whole Keshe Foundation team in the background. There was a lot of effort running the, what do you call it, the conference, especially Stanley and Ella, relentlessly, Giovanni and Giuseppe, and Caroline, and the others with Dr. Klaus and everybody else relentlessly being there for Sandy, bringing so much life to the Universal Council meeting. It's not the one anymore, it's us, and we have to stand for our rights to serve humanity. Thank you very much.
Wasn't Mr. Ram going to talk to us about the South Pole?
No, he's actually gone now, John. That's all done now, so that'll have to wait till next week. He had to leave because he ran short of time.
Thank you very much, Rick. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, Stanley wanted me to remind people they could make donations at the kfssi.org/donate site. It's a simple address to remember, just kfssi.org/donate, and that soon, soon they'll be adding PayPal and other means of paying. Right now, you can make a direct donation to the Keshe Foundation bank account.
We need now to look into, for a short term, in furnishing till the factory runs fully. Then the factory in Ghana will support the Keshe Foundation, and the other Keshe factories around the world will contribute towards the research and development. Our target now is expands into what we came across. One is the building of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Center in Africa. Arizona has taken the research and development. John was with us last week. And now we're trying to bring the space center development into Middle East as where we are. If we come to negotiations with the governments here, we can do it next month or so. Then we open the space center in every continent that they work together.
Stanley suggested that people could write as a reference to what they wanted to donate for, like the KF Global Operations, the Space Center in Ghana, or KF SSI Education, as categories that people could, if they wanted to make a specific reference.
Thank you very much. Let me explain again. For the first time, Keshe Foundation has put an employment request in Italy for the factory in the south of Italy. For Ghana and the Space Center, we put the request into the government of Ghana to use. We have a huge number of scientists. In America, we asked for American space scientists who want to join us. We're not trying to be, but not keeping people moving continents and leaving their family behind is the main object, not trying to be specified to one place. Hopefully in the coming time there will be all of this in every part of the world, that as we are one nation, we just make it easy for us as a community to be near our real, what do you call it, dearest, and at the same time serve humanity.
Well, Guy had actually an answer to this earlier when you had mentioned what's next after the Space Center. He said to me, why not a center in space? And that would be maybe a...
We'll take you there later on.
Okay. Well, that would be perhaps a meeting point for people that are on their way to space, a station in between Earth and space, perhaps, for people that are still need to have connection to family.
Thank you very much for everything. As I said, this has been a collective work by all of us, and now we've seen it. Receiving such a donation after more or less announcing less than 2 weeks that we have opened the center, we want to develop it, we're given the land, is the biggest gift. It means we are right. And there are those who are sitting on the sideline to see what we do, that they come in. It's time to come in now to speed up the process. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Maybe with a new teacher. I didn't mean to be late, deliberately late. We just had a time zone change, and we apologize for that.
Gee, I hope you didn't get fired because you were late.
You can fire me anytime. Please fire me. I had enough. I've been here winter, summer. We started 5 o'clock in the morning, if you remember the first teachings.
Yes, that was very harsh on you, especially.
166. This was number 13, huh? It may be padlock for people of the Belgian government. The truth has been spoken. Thank you very much indeed. See you next week.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. And that'll end the 166th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, April 6, 2017. And as always, thank you everybody for attending. And now we'll end the live stream, which has been in several parts tonight because of breakdowns in the internet. We'll have to patch that back up later and re-upload it. Okay.